smart minds here, so you better do. First, you already talked about what it is. So go solve it. Make sure that your eyes converge at the same point where you focus in the virtual world and in the reality world. Make sure when you move your head, it knows where you are in the space. So to be able to really see, it will always require some amount of time to compute and know how you move your head. So there will always be latency. Now, how can you reduce it? How much can you reduce it? The point, right? And how well you can predict into the future. That, okay, since I moved it this way, maybe next move would be something like that, right? So you also predict. So actually, you reduce latency by predicting. So this is not a fully solved problem yet as well. You can make it better. So that's second. And that's what, and you would like not to do it from outside perspective, like where you have lots of sensors and all, and then you might bump into them, but rather as in your head. That's what is called inside out. Hand. Understand the hands from all at least 50 degrees of freedom. Right? Our hands have really variable numbers of freedoms. Like you can do a lot of things. Right? So can we really track it accurately? Not 93%, 99.99% accurate. Okay. 93 I said because that's at least based on the benchmarks, most of the solutions do that. And they're good, up to some extent. We have achieved a lot, let me repeat that. But you do have to do a lot more. Understand what is in your environment, real environment. What are the things you can bump into? Or where intelligently you can put a virtual connection into the environment. So you do need to have a dense mapping of your environment that you are. So that's that problem. And finally, also go ponder about how much realism that you really want. Right? Maybe it's okay to live in avatars rather than the real. Right? So maybe that's good enough. So that question also we have to ask. And finally, this is the tomorrow. Right? This is what we should be doing in a very long term. Right? These are problems we need to solve. Truly natural interactions. That you should not be worrying about how to interact in virtual world. I think when Cecilia mentioned, I loved it. That's where we would like to go, right? That's where we want meta-policy to like to be, so that you don't have to learn, right? That okay, I have to flip, I have to tap with 2 finger, 4 finger, this way, that way. No, you should just behave as if you behave in your real world, right? That's how it should be. So how do we enable such things? What are those events? What is the model for this? What is the framework for this? So these are some fundamental questions we need to answer along the term. And there should be no difference between virtual and real. So I give this example usually that if I'm wearing a mixed reality headset, let's say Hawaii's advanced version of it, and I see an apple in my kitchen, right? Real apple, and there is a virtual person in my whole environment I'm talking to, I'm interacting with, and can't come pick the apple and eat it. Really. So, what happens in certain in a context like this? These questions we need to ask. And what happens if it's really, of course, we can scan the apple, we can make it virtual, and the virtual person can eat, right? Take a bite, right? But what happens to the one it exists here? So how do we make it disappear, for example? Of course, we can do tricks to do that, but there is another simulation consistency problem. We don't talk about it a lot today that we need to worry about. And this is about the right? So long-term contextual interactions. I talked about fundamental computation, right? Can we think about computation in a new way that will enable us to really provide this 10 to the power 16 computations per second. So, and finally, for neuroscience, if there is a neuroscience majors or people who are interested in that, what happens really? What happens if we we experience something in virtual world and experience it for a long time, right? And maybe frequently? And how does it? We know from neuroscience research that our brain is very plastic. It doesn't change, right? That's how we learn, right? Otherwise, you won't learn anything. So, how does it affect? How does virtual reality affect our brains? And also, this is an important question because, in virtual reality, we can do so many things that we will not do in the real world, right? Of course, for example, you can go to Mars, or you can also, defy the laws of physics. But how does it affect our brain? That's another question that we need to address. So, hope this excites you. I'm sure you are already excited. That's why you are here. I hope this excites you even more, and you start solving these problems today, because you are the future of virtual reality. So, virtual reality. What are you going to name? So, with that, it concludes our session, and finally to wrap up our whole 3-speaker session. Intel is very committed to making virtual reality mainstream. You have seen it from our CEO's keynote. You have seen it in many of our presentations, right? And we are making great progress, as an industry, real industry, and to make it more affordable, more comfortable, more mainstream. And there are not more challenges to be solved, right? And we are here to be able to solve it. Thank you. With that, we'll take questions, one of us. Right? Yes.
Hi. It seems to me that one of the biggest factors that limits what we can replicate in VR is the disconnect between what we see and what our inner ear feels. So for example, if you're in a car in VR that accelerates, but you don't accelerate in real life, you feel nausea because there's that disconnect. Do you know of any NASA technologies that could help solve that? And do you feel that in the future, this is something that can be solved via just head-mounted or easily to take on and off displays? Or is it something that's going to require kind of matrix-style surgical implantations?
That's one of the best questions, I think, in VR that we can ask today, because I know I didn't go too deep into that piece that, our inner ear, we have that view that takes care of how we balance ourselves, and that's the very reason we also get motion sickness in the bus, right? When you see a screen and all that, right? So we don't have a solution for that yet, I believe so. But one of the ways is that, particularly when you are moving your head, for example, that one is the motion to photon latency problem. It boils down to that. So as much as we can reduce, right? That's one way to go about it. Second, ultimately, if it's the brain we are fooling, then of course we can get into the cranial nerves and do something with it, right? There's one dedicated for that reason, and whether we really need matrices style, I'm not sure about that. You guys have been excited?
Yeah, that's an area that's being explored is for the kind of more medical side of things, make sure you don't get sick and that kind of stuff. So there's some research there, but we'll do what we can in terms of the compute, right? And then I saw an opening, right, the car simulator, where you actually have the movement as you move. Obviously that helps, right? So, but that's kind of big and bulky. So eventually we'd like to get that down to fooling the brain and not having a big physical object that you have to manipulate.
Another point is maybe this full range virtual reality that some of the examples I mentioned, probably we'll get that in a Disney kind of scenario, rather one head-mounted display unless we really get into the brain. Right? That would be
Like a
nice.
theme ride, you're thinking.
Yeah, theme ride. Like you go into the. I think there is a company called Void, right? You might have heard about it. That's building something like that. Right? You know, a room stay where you can go and you can play with your friends and you really feel like that you're there, right? And so we have to find that right balance, that how much we fool that so that we don't get sick.
Kind of a clarification question for Stan. You were talking about black parallax. I was wondering if the information that you're gathering from the camera that results in that parallax can still be used for creating good parallax, allowing you to view through two eyes or not.
Well, so one of the things you can do is you just start with stereo pairs, and then you have a left and right eye view to do the depth view. So there are some of the camera devices that work with stereo pairs. But even the bad parallax between the two cameras that you're stitching together, you can use that for depth information. Right? The disparity translates into depth. If you want to know depth in that area, that's one way you could learn it. Either to improve the visual scene, remove the visual scene, or if you want to know what's in there, what's the depth in between those cameras that's useful information, you can use it.
Yes.
I'm curious about this real sense technology. And the first part is how many companies or devices are already using these technologies? The second part is Intel providing the raw point cloud or also providing solutions such as hand tracking and room tracking?
So what are the first questions?
Real sense.
Real sense, like
How many companies or devices are already using hand technology? And second question is Intel providing the raw point cloud or also providing solutions such as using those point clouds to do hand tracking and tracking rules?
Yes. So is first one, how many like currently products are using the real sense technology? So as we know, the use of like really the depth mapping in a sense, it's coming just now, right? It's in the first generation one, it's not there. So and Intel is like trying to make real sense as one of those solutions. It's of course like I don't know how you cannot say much, right? But it's of course going to partner with a lot of these partners to enable that.
Yeah, you might see real sense in head-mounted displays. You might see it on drones. You can see it in a lot of different use cases.
So I think if I understand the question was real sense technology in how many devices or solutions. Is that correct? Right. Yeah, so as Stan mentioned, the 2 or 3 very common ones that we have publicly announced. One is in the drones. So if you look at any of the internet news on Intel and Real Sense, you see drones using the 3D cameras for a variety of use cases, including the farmers in the Central Valley trying to figure out which part of their farm is not getting right amount of water or something that they can see different shades of growth. From that to forest fires to many things that the drones can and are being used. Second thing is in head-mounted devices also. At the Intel Developers Conference in September, we announced a project called Alloy, which is a high-end head-mounted display with all the computes in it and the 3D camera for sensing depth. So those are very public announcements, and you will see a lot more come in the next 6 months. 3D cameras can be used for many of the use cases that you can think about. So that was the first one. The second question was?
Yeah, it's also providing all solutions for like hand tracking or like for road sensing. And is that only providing raw point cloud or also providing web solutions for applications?
I would check that. So as you saw the RCU's keynote, you mentioned that we're going to open source it will be a reference platform, right? Later on this year. Like we mentioned that we're going to open source, right? It will be open reference platform, right? So it will be in that sense it is going to be very open will show how you can build certain solutions with this technology in, in just all-in-one HMT. So that's one.
And there's the RealSense SDK has been released in the past, and you can get a depth point cloud, and there's also middleware, things like gesture detection and other pieces in there. So in that SDK, there's the raw data plus some what we call middleware, which is taking it above the raw data to one next level of, say, understanding a gesture.
So let me say that each one of the challenges, some of the challenges that I mentioned, right? At the first step towards solving the internal RealSense SDK might have. So you go play it, like you have something about the gestures, hand tracking, you have something about density reconstruction that we call scene perception. There would be something about body tracking. So you would find some of these bits and pieces there in RealSense SDK even today.
What are the more economic, and promising use case of VR to social and humanitarian applications? Like you mentioned about agriculture, but I don't know how much actual kind of pickup you can get, right, from VR in terms of your production increase, right? And also people use VR for education and medical. What do you feel are the more sort of valuable ways to apply VR for the more mass population so that they can gain productivity or gain some utility from it with a very little amount of cost?
So education is definitely a big one, right? You can really go teach about things that you saw example from the city about the brain, right? That's how actively you interact. You can look into the various portions of it, and other you can go to Mars and really explore. You can go to places that you have not been, look up very closely. Even had in cardboard they had a project like that, right? So education is big. Medical is there, right? So all the information surgeon having right in front of him or her while they're doing the operation, right? Surgery. That's one. Also, curing some of the there is a company called MindMage, that how they're trying to solve some of the mental related problems in this with the VR. For example, or even let me give a concrete example. You might have heard about the phantom limb problem, people who have to go through to lose a limb, right? They still feel that pain. But when you get into the VR, if you see with the one hand and you basically feel that it's there, and it has been used to actually remove the pain. So these are some examples that and many more will come.
I think one of the things you'll see that it'll be hard to say which one industry will propel this to massive scale. You might see multitude of segments or sectors that start putting this. As an example, Lufthansa is already using one of the augmented reality technologies. When a plane is grounded on a tarmac at the airport, apparently it costs thousands of dollars by the hour if a technician cannot fix it. So Lufthansa has a technology where a technician there, with the help of a central lab or a central expertise that they have, say in Frankfurt, and the plane is grounded in San Francisco, that instead of sending a technician all the way to San Francisco, are able to fix the problem through the AR experiences and saves the company literally thousands of dollars. So that's one example. We might also see in tourism, in real estate, which are a little more consumer stuff that you might be able to experience some of the most famous places like the Roman Coliseum in your house, right? By watching that through HMD, if it's done correctly. So my conjecture is that there are many use cases and segments that are attacking this